Good day, everyone. My name is Janet Chermosena. Today, I will continue our report about science. Science, as you can see in the picture, they are science cover with formulation, collaborations. It hints on critical thinking, learning, intellectual creativity, questions, communication, problem solving, literacy, scientific method, thinking, 21st century deduction problem solutions, students' experiments, and lastly is processing. Science as education. Aforementioned discussion notes that there is no such thing as a singular scientific method, offering instead a variety of procedures that scientists can experiment with to get results and call them science. Yeah, uh, the pathway to make take different forms. In fact, creativity, flexibility is essential to scientific thinking. So there is no scientific method that all scientists use, but each most ultimately have a conclusion or results that is testable or falsifiable. Dis- Discoveries in physics, specifically in quantum mechanics, appeared to have debunked the idea of objectivity and reality, subscribing instead to alternative idea called intersubjectivity. Debunk means debunk means kanang mga expose of falseness kana mga idea na kanang object sa in reality kana na mo subscribe na instead ng mga alternative idea na mag-collab na siya sa which called intersubjectivity. With objectivity gone, it has lost its number one credence. Yes, for example, kanang mga scientist na mga kanang wala na sana kanang wala na long last ma-lost na siya. Nevertheless, there is still exists a repressing concept that comes about as a result of a justified irreverence of science. Our preference of science inclines students over those which are less adept or kanang mga less mga skillful. They are this they are distinct portions in entrance exams in the secondary and tertiary levels that are dedicated to science and mathematics. Muna to ang katong SNT, di ba, kamantay mo na sa STEM. In the Philippines, a large distribution of science high schools can be found all over the country, forging competition for aspiring students to secure a slot and undergo rigorous science and mathematics training based on specially curricula. So, ang katong mga hilig ug mga favorite nila ang science and mathematics, naay gikuan na curriculum na mas matrain pa sila maayo sa ila favorite subject. Although arguable as these schools also take great consideration in providing holistic education by assuring that other non-science courses are covered. Mga skillful, mga adeptness in science and mathematics are the primary condition to be admitted. This preference is also reflected on the amount of STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, yes, kana kabati na mga taan na, offering schools accommodating grades 11 and 12. Among all the clusters being offered STEM trumps the remaining cluster in terms of popularity and distribution with accounting and business coming in a close seconds. So, dili lang ang STEM na apod ang ga-focus ang mathematics which ang accounting and business. One might infer that there are more demand in this field as students are preconditioned that the field would later land them high-paying jobs and lucrative career after graduation. Yes, because of that kanang mga course na imong gisud diha napod diha ang mga high paying jobs which ang kanang mga engineering ing ana, mga accounting na mga para after graduation nila makakuha sila ana na career. How is science perceived by those who are graduated from this field? A couple of years ago, a student entered a class all curious and excited. When he was made to report on Paul Feyerabend's work, How to Define Society Against Science one day, he looked dissident, staunchly refusing to consider the author's ideas on science and critiquing him instead. When asked why, he reasoned out that he had come from a science high school and was trained to regard science in a distinct accord. As isolated a case as it may seem, it somewhat suggests that the aforementioned kind of academic environment has made students unwelcoming of objections against science. Reminiscent of Paul Feyerabend's sentiment above, he muses how the educational system can hone and preserve students' capacity to entertain other options and decide for themselves the best among all presented. It will thus reinforce their imagination and allow some level of unorthodoxy, bringing the forth novel discoveries that otherwise would not be considered had they stuck to the default mythology. Innovation are brought forth by the visionaries, not the prude legalists, and several notable figures in science even consider them as outsiders. Yeah, based on my understanding, yes, importante jud ang science. Dili jud nato i-against ang science to defend society. If one is really in pursuit of human flourishing, it would make sense for them to pursue it holistically. Simply mastering science and technology would be inadequate if we are to say socialize with people or ruminate of art in yourself. Aristotle Eu- eudaimonic person is required to be knowledgeable about science. Among other things of equal importance, they are supposed to possess intellectual virtues that will enable them to determine truth from falsehood or good reasoning from poor reasoning. A, a true eudaimon recognizes that flourishing requires one to excel in various dimensions such as linguistic, kinetic, artistic, and scientific. Yes, ang ang science pod is tungod ana nga na pud ta maka-practice about mga various dimensions mo na siya ang na-mention nako. Does he understand that he should not focus on one aspect alone? How much is too much? Kung too much na sad kay ang about science. In 2000, world leaders signed the Millennium Development Goals MDG. The target it concerns, one of which states that they should be able to forge a global partnership for development in as much as the institute imposing them do so in good faith from the primary goal to achieve growth for all might prove to be fatal in the long run. Economists believe that growth is the primary indicator of development, as both go hand in hand and has put forth the resources in trying to achieve such. Technology has been a primary instrument in enabling them to pursue said goal, utilizing resources, machineries, and labor. What is missing in this equation in the growth presents a necessary notion of sustainability. The world resources can only provide so much. It cannot be expected to stretch out for everybody's consumption over a long period of time. Yes, so tinood yun na. Moreover, growth is not infinite. There is no preordained ceiling once the ball starts rolling. If the MDG convention intent was to get everyone in the growth ship, that ship will surely sink before leaving the port. Yeah, so kanang kung padayon lang gyud ang sige growth, wala tayong hibaw na too much na di ay mo na musink na siya mo na maka-cause og kanang mga guba ana. The same analogy applies to the capacity of nature to accommodate us, which Joseph Hickel contemplated on suggesting developed countries should not push forth more growth but instead adopt the development policies or else everybody loses. Yes, kasi too much na sa nang si kanang pag-growth about technology, makakause pod na siya og loss. The rapid pace of technology growth allows no room for nature to recuperate, resulting in exploitation and irreversible damages to nature. Yes, makakause gid na siya damage sa nature. Right now, as you can kanang sa ato gid na experience karon makita man jud nato, we are experience repercussions of such exploits in the hands of man-made climate change, which would snowball and affect majority of flora and fauna, driving half of the latter extinct in less than 100 year from. Yeah, tungod anang sa sobra na sad kaayo natog sige tag kuan og technology, wala na takabantay na kanang ang ato environment, ang ato nature naka-cause na day og na damage na day ay then madamay pud ta, ma-loss pud ta. Na. That's all. Thank you.